ADC gives Peter Obi a subtle ultimatum. Breaking news. And again, Atiku Abubakar says he will support any younger candidate who wins the ADC primaries. All these speak volumes. As a staunch member of the obedient movement, I came here earlier at the inception of the coalition called ADC to ask whether we can trust the coalition. We will not stand here to say yes we can or yes we cannot. Because if we want to go by their original commitments to make things fair, we will say they want to do the right things. But not until we remember that Nigerian politicians have a way of sweeping Nigerians off their feet. Not until we remember that those desperate politicians who want to remain in power have a way of sweeping Nigerians off their feet. Just like the promises of INEC. What did they not do? I remember Okoye, their publicity secretary, the body trust of Nigerians, strongly worded statements buying the trust of Nigerians. They said IREF was going to be the game changer. They made a lot of budgets. They appropriated a lot of monies. They made amendments and bought the trust of Nigerians. And Nigerians relaxed for them, only to be swept off their feet. Nigerians will no longer be carried away by just mere promises. Promises of doing the right things. And we say this because we have seen the ADC as not being sincere in their quests for creating an option for Nigerians who do not trust the present administration. It is not honest in its desires to win elections. It's still pandering to the interests of big pockets. I will not sugarcoat words because I have earlier told you that bring the coalition and bring Peter Obi and give us a level playing ground. Give us INEC that works. Give us electoral reforms that work. And see Obi beating them blue-black on the day of election. And I also told you that for that reason, they are not interested in fixing this country. They are not interested in giving one man that all Nigerians believe at this time can lead this country the opportunity. Rather, they want to pull him in and use his political economy to retain power and continue in politics. After all, they have said that these children in the obedience want to take them out of politics, and we are still bent on taking them out of politics because over the years, if we have managers who have given us the kind of results we now reject, then we don't want them to continue managing our affairs. But we in this coalition trusted that they are willing to make amends. So we gave them the chance to say, let's work together. Let's hold hands to help you do the right things. But the leopard will always show its spots, never wilts that spot. It is not the cobra that can renew its skins. So the ADC, I say, is not honest about their statements to Nigerians. And for that reason, we still want Peter Obi to be sure of what he is doing. We have said as the obedient movement that anywhere Peter Obi goes, because we trust that he knows how to make good decisions, judging from years of decisions that have never backfired negatively or told negatively on whichever aspect of the economy this man managed, whichever aspect of our country this man managed. So that track record is what we are banking on to say, this man, we will follow you to wherever you go to, even the ADC. That is, if the ADC is interested in winning the election and not just using Peter Obi to gain power. Having said that they are not honest about winning the election, Their tactics is glaring to any person who can read in between the lines. ADC gives Peter Obi ultimatum to come into the party if they want to be part of the party. Atiku Abubakar says that if a younger candidate wins the primaries, I will support him. These two statements in recent times have forced me to stand before this camera to tell you that there is fire on the mountain. Who is the younger candidate? Even though they never mentioned Obi directly, who are the younger candidates that are vying for the presidency in the ADC? Peter Obi remains relatively the youngest of them all. And then, if he wins in the primaries, I will support him. And the question is, how does our primaries look like? What does our primaries look like? We have a template. The 2023 PDP primaries, which Atiku Abubakar participated with Nyesom Wike, two tortoises who outdid each other. Atiku Abubakar dollarized the primaries, sweeping Wike, the strategist, off his feet. The same reason for which Wike is dealing with the PDP and invariably drove Atiku Abubakar out of PDP. Okay, is Peter Obi interested in buying power in the primaries or dollarizing power? No. So the question is, will he win the primaries? If dragged into the ADC, people who have known money all their lives, and for them, the end justifies the means. We, Nigerians who do not pretend, will tell Peter Obi, tread softly. And ADC is not being fair because it is also looking like they want to give northern oligarchs an undue advantage. I will say northern oligarchs because they are not really interested in building the country. These are few people who have held power for a long time and are only interested in building their lives and staying in power and not necessarily building the lives of northern Nigeria. So for them, anybody who will be in power, so long as it's from northern Nigeria, whether or not he favors the whole country, it doesn't matter. You see it play out in Buhari. When Buhari was in power, northern Nigeria never screamed. And northern oligarchs, when Buhari was in power, northern oligarchs never screamed. All was good, so long as it's the person they pushed into power. But once a southern hand lays hands on power, whether or not he's doing the right thing, they will still shout. Those few businessmen in power. So telling Obi to come into is to sweep him off his feet, bring him into the ADC, use party primaries to rubbish him, and make him align. Use his political economy to win elections, thereby remaining in power. So the northern oligarchs are trying to influence the dynamics of the election in the country. How? They are projecting Atiku Abubakar to win the election. Who is in the mix? Atiku Abubakar, Kwankwaso, and any person they are projecting. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Rotimi Amechi. Have you seen them project Peter Obi? Even though he remains the most viable option at a time like this. No. It's a tactics that we have learned our lessons after 2023 election, not to be naive and carried away by words of promises. If promises build nations, Nigeria won't be poor. I assure you, it's a regular slogan. We don't want assurances. The kind of assurances they always give us, that's insecurity, will not consume us, and yet daily consumes us. So what do they want? They do not want Peter Obi. Let's get it point blank. The North does not want an Igbo man. These northern oligarchs do not want an Igbo man. In Peter Obi, if he wants, let him be a saint. They do not want an Igbo man to be president. Forget about seeing him with Erufai. Forget about everything, the wishy-washy they do. In your eyes, they do not want Peter Obi to be the president of this country. And what is their plan A and what is their plan B? Atiku Abubakar is their plan A. And then Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is their plan B. How do I mean? They want Atiku Abubakar to be president. But if at all he's not going to win, despite their unwritten arrangement between the North and South in sharing power, doesn't matter. If at all he doesn't win, we will not allow an Igbo man, a Peter Obi, take power, even if he wants to turn this country to gold. So it is better that Jonathan wins, the one they can't control. All of a sudden, they now love Jonathan. All of a sudden, Jonathan is now the next thing after our jollof rice. They're also projecting Rotimi Amechi in case Jonathan refuses. Because for me, I know that even for both of them, for Rotimi and for Jonathan, the best decision they will make in this era is not to throw themselves into the ring to say we are part of that election. The northern oligarchs have an agenda to deplete the votes of the South and say they never won election. They not won the election. Peter Obi, we say, will not deputize anybody. He will be president of Nigeria. He will lead this country out of his woes. What we have now is not leadership. We have allowed criminals take over the country. Yes, we have allowed the wrong people take over power. And the result is what we are seeing. The result is what we are seeing. Power is something you do not just allow into any hands you see. Because if it's good hands, it will give you good results. If you allow power in the wrong hands, they will maximize it to the maximum to give you wrong results. What more can I say? It lies in your hands as a Nigerian to ignore the ADC and decide that it will be them in their clique of power voting themselves. But for Nigerians, we want to come out of where we are. Power should be to our advantage. Power should be a tool, turning our lives for the better, for the best of it, and not putting them perpetually in office.